Hello everyone, this is me Arijit with a new video, and in this video we are going to build a car like this. Now in one of our previous videos we built a car which you can actually control using your smartphone using Bluetooth. So you can actually control in the local area, so in the Bluetooth range. But in this video we are going to take that to the next level. In this video we are going to control this car using Wi-Fi so that you can control it from anywhere in the world. So the concept is like that: your car has to be connected to internet. It can be using any Ethernet module, or it can be also a hotspot or Wi-Fi, and also your smartphone need to be connected to internet, and then you can actually control this car from anywhere in the world. Okay, and so let me show you a demo. So here at first you need to turn this car on. There is a switch, you press it and it will be turned on, and then we are ready to control this car. And we will need an app in our phone. Now it's also free. We are going to use an app called Blynk, and then we can simply control it. Now how you can control it? We can simply press a button and the lights will be turned on, and there is a joystick using which you can actually control this car as you want, something like this. So as you can see we can control it something like this. And so in this video we are going to see how you can build this car. Now obviously we will be needed a ESP8266 module. Now I am going to use NodeMCU, but you can use any other ESP8266 modules also. For example, there is ESP32, there is ESP32 CAM, and there are a lot of modules. You can use any of them, but in this video I am going to use NodeMCU because I think NodeMCU is one of the cheapest ones, and also you can use the generic ESP8266 module also. That will also work, and the concept will be totally same. Okay, so let's get started. So now let's talk about what are the things we need to build this. So at first we need a body. Now for that I am going to use this acrylic glass. The second thing is we need some motors. Now here I am going to use this 9-volt DC BO motors. You can use other motors too. Now with the motors I am going to use these wheels. So while buying wheels, make sure that those wheels should fit in your motor. Now to control the motor, next we need a motor driver. Now here I am going to use this L298N motor driver. Now to control the motor driver you will be needed a NodeMCU. Now also you can use other ESP8266 modules too, but here I am going to use this NodeMCU. And finally we will be needed a power supply, and for that I am going to use this 2 lithium-ion batteries. I also have connected a switch with it. Now you can use other batteries too, so maybe a 9-volt non-rechargeable battery or maybe a 12-volt battery, anything you can use, and we'll talk about all of them while we'll talk about the connections. Now at first after a little bit of pre-processing, this is how the acrylic glasses looks like, and now they are ready to use. So at first we need to basically solder the motors. Now we need to solder these 4 motors with like 2 wires in each, and after soldering them this is how it should look like. Now then we need to attach the motors with the this acrylic glass. Now for that I am going to use hot glue, but you can use screws also. Now after installing all the 4 motors, this is how it will look like. And then we need to attach the wheels with it, and here I am going to use screws to do so. And after attaching these 4 wheels, this is how it should basically look like. Now we are going to attach you at the front side here, and we will attach the motor driver at the middle side, and we are voltage here to attach this, and finally attach the battery at the back side of a dual tape, and so we are going to attach the switch, and after this our assembly will be done. Okay guys, now let's talk about the connections. So the first thing is here, if you see, we have to power the whole system. Now we have to power this NodeMCU, this motor driver, and this 4 motors, and also the LEDs. Okay, and here we have a single power source, which is this 2 lithium-ion batteries. Now these 2 lithium-ion batteries are giving us around 7 to 8 volts. Okay, because they are 3.5 to 4 volts around, like they give separately. So using this 7 to 8 volts, how we can just power this whole thing, let's see. And also we will see, like if you are using a different battery, maybe a 9-volt battery, then if you need to change anything or not. Okay, So the first thing is this motor driver. Now here if you see in this motor driver we have 3 pins, this like leftmost pin, middle pin and rightmost pin. Now they are labeled as 12 volt, ground 5 volt. Now what they mean by this is, so another thing to note is here there is a jumper which is connected. Okay, you can also remove this, but it is connected in my case. So if you give let's say 7 to 12 volts in the leftmost pin and you give ground to the middle pin, in that case you are going to get 5 volts output from the third pin. Okay, but if you are going to give more than 12 volts, in that case you need to open this jumper wire and you also have to give 5 volts in this rightmost pin. Okay, and the input voltage you will give, your motors are going to get 2 volts less than that. So if you are giving let's say 8 volts, your motors will get 6 volts. If you are giving 12 volts, your motor will get 10 volts. Okay, now in my case my motors are 9 volt motors, so I am giving here 8 volts, so they will get 6 volts around. So in that volts also this will work pretty well. Okay, but obviously it's better if I can use a 10 volt battery, but here I'm just using a 7 to 8 volts battery. Okay, and if you are using a 5 volt battery, in that case your motors are going to in that case you need to give that 5 volt to this pin and this pin. Okay, so the rightmost pin and leftmost pin, and your motors are going to get 3 volts around. Okay, now obviously 3 volts are not enough for this motor, so using 5 volt is not recommended. You should at least use 7 to 8 volts. Okay, this is about how we are going to power this thing. Now coming to NodeMCU, in NodeMCU there is a VIN and ground pin. Now the VIN and ground pin, like the VIN pin supports around like 7 to 10 volts are recommended. You don't use more than 10 volts. Okay, because sometimes some website says it supports up to 12 volts, but depending on the manufacturer, sometimes this NodeMCU doesn't work in 12 volts and your NodeMCU can be damaged. So don't use more than 10 volts. 7 to 10 volts is good if you are using the VIN and ground pin. So as we are using 7 to 8 volts, we are going to give that 7 to 8 volts to this VIN and ground pin. So this is how we are going to power these two things. Also motors will get powered from motor driver and these LEDs will get powered from this NodeMCU. Okay, now let's just connect them. Okay, so here I have connected the positive of the battery to this switch. So whenever we will turn this switch on, we are going to get 7 to 8 volts from this red wire, and from this black wire we are going to get ground. Now we have to give this power to both the motor driver and this NodeMCU. So I'm going to use a jumper wire here so that I can give power to a NodeMCU also. So I'll simply connect the white jumper wire with the red one, and then I will simply insert that here. And also I will connect the white wire to the VIN pin. Okay. In the same way, we are going to connect the black wire with the black wire. Okay, so you can power it in other ways also. So like if you don't want to use any jumper wire, there are other ways you can power it. But here I'm just for simplicity, I am using in this way. And as we are using 7 to 8 volts, we are giving 7 to 8 volts, and so that's why we don't need to give the 5 volts in the third pin. And also we will get a 5 volts output from here. So if you have any other sensor here, you can also connect the sensor with this 5 volt output. Okay, so I have connected both the ground and VCC pin, both in this and this one. Now we need to check if it is working or not. You can simply turn on this switch. So let me turn it on. So as you can see, this LED is turned on, and also this LED got blinked once. So now, and as you can see, it is now the LED is turned on. So now we know that yes, both of them got power. Let's turn it off. Now we need to power these motors. Now what I have done here is, for the left side 2 motors, I have connected both of the black wires and both of the red wires. In same way, for the right side motors, I have connected both the red wires and black wires. Now here we have 2 pins. Okay, the front pin and a back pin. Now we have to connect these wires here. Now you may ask like which wire to connect to the front pin, the black one or the red one. Now the thing is that you can connect any one. Okay, and after you will connect them, you will write the code. You will test your card. If it is going in the correct direction, then fine. If not, then either you change the code or you swap the connections. Okay, so here I am connecting the black wire in the front pin and the red wire in the back side pin. Now it is important, whatever you are doing in the left side, do the same in the right side. So black one in the front pin and red one in the back pin. So we have connected the motors with the motor driver now. Okay. Now the thing is that we have to connect the NodeMCU with the motor driver. Now here, as you can see, we have 6 pins. Okay. Now here in the left side and right side, there will be jumper wires, like jumpers connected. So you have to remove those jumpers. Okay, because we are going to control the speed of the motors also. So the middle 4 pins here, so it is written as IN1, IN2, IN3, IN4. Okay, something is written as INA1, INB1, INA2, INB2. Whatever it is written, the middle 4 pins will control the direction of the motors, and the leftmost and rightmost pin will control the speed of the motors. As simple as that. So that's why here we will be needed 6 jumper wires. So simply connect them. Okay, and then you have to connect this jumper wires with these pins. Now for the middle 4 pins, I am going to use D1, D2, D3, D4, and for the PWM pins mean the leftmost and rightmost pin, I am going to use D5 and D6. Okay, and if you are following my code, in that case you also need to do the same, but obviously you can change the pins if you want. So I have connected these pins, and now I will simply connect the PWM pins to D5 and D6. Okay. And now the remaining thing is we have to connect the LED. Now for that I am going to connect the ground pin of the LED to the ground, and the positive side of the LED to D7. So whenever we will make D7 high, this LED will be turned on. Okay. Now I have also used one resistor here, so you also should use that, else your LEDs can be damaged or the NodeMCU can be damaged. Okay, so this is how whole wiring is done. So now we have also, like I said, so again, if you are using a different battery, maybe more than 12 volts, in that case you cannot connect the 12 volts to this NodeMCU directly. In that case you give that 12 volts to this pin, these 2 pins, and also remove the jumper wire, and the 5 volts you are getting output from, you give that 5 volts to this NodeMCU, then it will work simply. Okay, so depending on your input voltage, you have to change the wiring a little bit. But if you are using 7 to 10 volts battery, so you can use those 9-volt non-rechargeable batteries also. In that case you don't need to change anything. This whole this whole connections will be like just fine. Okay, so now let's just see how we can program this thing and how we can control this. Okay, now let's talk about how you can set up the app. Now here we need an app called Blynk, so you can download the app from Play Store. It's called BLYNK. So you just download that, and after that you open the app. Now after opening, you have to create a new project. I already have created. So you log in with your, you create a new account, and you log in with your Facebook, and you simply create a new project. You give it a name. So I have given it a name car. Okay, and after you will create a new project, you are going to get a code in your email. So we will be needed that code in our code. So save that code. After that you open this project, and it will look something like this, a blank screen. In the top side you are going to get a plus button. You click on that, and here you will get a lot of buttons. Now in this project we need 3 things. So the first thing is we need a joystick, because this is how we are going to control our car. So you take a joystick. Second thing is we need a slider to control the speed. Now we can do that also using the joystick, but I am going to use a slider. So yeah, we will be needed a slider. Just a minute, okay, I can resize it. And also we need a button, so to turn on the front lights. So take a button. So let me increase the size. Yeah, this look is good. So this is how you can create these 3 things. You can add these 3 things, and we are done. Now the thing is that we have to set up these 3 things. So at first you click in the joystick. You can give it a name, but I'm not going to give it a name. And what you do, you have to set the pin numbers. So here I am going to give it a virtual pin, and I'm going to give it virtual pin number. I'm getting virtual pin B1. Okay, and I'm going to merge it actually. Okay, so that all this data will go to a single virtual pin, and then you go to virtual B1, so virtual pin 1. and this range will be same 0 to 1 to 1023. Okay, it should be on. So the auto return should be on, and rotate on tilt. You can on this, or this is fine. You can off this also. It's fine. Okay, and the remaining things are just fine. You don't need to change anything. You just go back. You go to the slider. Here you also need to change the. You don't need to change the range here. Okay, but you just need to change the pin. I am going to use virtual pin number 0 here. Okay. And these two things should be on, so the send on release and show value should be on. Again, you can give it a name, but I'm not going to give it now. And finally, here for this LED, we have connected the LED to digital pin number 7, so I'm going to select D7. Okay, and it will make it 0 to 1, so whenever you will press the button, it's going to turn on the LED, and also make it to switch rather than push. Okay, and that's all you do. I'm not going to give any name. So this is how we are going to give this, like, create this app. Again, you can give name all these things. Okay, and then you can simply play it, but you will see it's saying offline. This is because we haven't created the app yet. And if you want to get the code of this, like the code, obviously you are going to get the code when you create the project, but again, if you need it, you just click here, and then you can simply email, or you can just click on the email all, and it will work just fine. Okay, another thing I haven't shown you, actually, let me show you that whenever you will create a new project, let me just show you. So let's say you want to create so this is how it will look like at the beginning. So you create a new project, and here you need to choose NodeMCU, not ESP8266. You choose NodeMCU if you're obviously using NodeMCU. And project name, you can give it any name. Let's say I give it a name of car2, something like this. And connection type should be Wi-Fi, because obviously we're going to use Wi-Fi, and you click just create. Okay, and whenever you will click on create, it is like, say auth token was sent to this email address. You click OK, and it will send the code to your email address, and in future we can use this code in our code. Okay, now this is how you can actually create an app. So we already have created our app. Now we can simply code our NodeMCU with the code, and then we will be able to use this. So let's see. Okay guys, now let's talk about the coding part. Okay, so here we are going to write the code in the Arduino IDE. Now I have already opened this, and this is how the code looks like. Now I will tell you what the things you need to change, and also how the whole thing is actually working. Okay, so first thing is we need to basically install few libraries, and for that you go to Sketch. From there you go to include library, manage libraries. Okay, and then a window will appear here. So let's just wait for it. So yeah, and as you can see, it is updating the list of install libraries. So again, it will take few seconds, and after that we have to search for both of these libraries, and we have to install them one by one. Okay, and then we can simply use the code. So just wait for a few seconds, and yeah, so now we can simply write ESP8266, and so you press enter after writing this, and then you will get it. So you have to install this one. Adafruit ESP8266. Okay, and after installing this one, you go to Blynk. You search Blynk, BLYNK. Again, you press enter, and at the very beginning you should get Blynk, and I already have installed it, but you also need to install this one. And after that, we have installed all the libraries we need. Now the thing is that we have to define our pins. Now in my case, as we know, like I have used D1, D2, D3, D4 for for the middle 4 pins, and D5, D6 for the PWM pins. Okay, so if you have used some other pins, you can change them here. After that, I have initialized the L speed, R speed at 1024. Now, okay, we can make it 1023 actually, but 1024 will also work, but 1023 will be more accurate. So L speed, R speed is basically the speed at which we are going to rotate the motors, you can say. Okay, and we are going to control this L speed, R speed using the app. Okay, and now if you see here, we need to change these 3 things in your case. So the first thing is the auth token. So whenever you will create the app, you are going to get a auth token in your mail. So you need to copy and paste it here. Then the SSID, that means your Wi-Fi SSID or hotspot SSID. Okay, you have to put it here. So basically the name of the hotspot. So in my case, it's Sparklers 2G. So if you see Sparklers 2G, so I have written this. Also, you need to mention the password of your router. Okay, this is the only changes you need to do, and after that you can simply upload the sketch, and it will simply work. If you have used the same pins I have used, in that case it should work just fine. Okay, Now after that, here if you see, we have this function car move. Now in this function we will simply pass xy to coordinates, like basically to coordinates, and based on the coordinates, so these are the coordinates of the joystick, and based on the position of the joystick our car will simply move. Okay, so if like y is greater than equal to 750, so if you use the app you will understand why I have written y greater than 750, because in the app, if you see in the top right corner, you will see the position of the joystick whenever you will move it. So if the what I can say, the y axis is like more than 750, in that case we have to move the car forward. So this is the code to move the car forward. 2 pins will be high, 2 pins will be low, and we will simply write the L speed, R speed in the PWM pins. Okay, in this way, for if it is x is greater than 750, it should be moved right, or you can say rotate right. If x is less than 350, rotate left. And if both are equal to 512, that means you are not moving the joystick. It shouldn't move, so it will be all the pins will be low, so that no motors will rotate. And finally, if y is less than 350, that means you are telling us to go backward, so this is the code for the backward. Okay, now the thing is, there are many other things you can implement. So maybe in joystick there are many other controls you can just implement based on these coordinates. You can code them. I have just used these 4 things, but obviously you can add more. I just wanted to keep it simple, so that's why I have just added these 4 things. Okay, now after that, here is the main setup. So here we are going to initialize the pins, all the pins as output, PWM pins as also output, and we are going to initialize the pins as low, so that whenever we will start our car, it shouldn't go to any direction. It should be in the, so basically no motor should rotate when we will basically start our car. Okay, and here we have blink right V1 and we have V2 V0. So V0 is basically for the slider, so we are going to take the speed from the slider, and V1 is the joystick, so we are going to get the x and y coordinate from the joystick, and then we will simply call the car move function, and we will pass these coordinates, and based on the coordinates our car move function is going to enable the pins, and also will write the PWM signals. Okay, so our car will rotate in correct direction, and also it will get the correct speed. So this is how the whole code is working. So after you have you will like do this modification, you go to tools and you then select all these things. You have to select a port, the port where you have connected your your NodeMCU. Also you need to select the board as NodeMCU 1.0 ESP12B module, so you can simply select that this one, and then you can simply just click in upload and it will be uploaded. So in my case I already uploaded, so I'm not going to upload again, but you simply click on update and upload and it will be uploaded. And this whole code is available in the GitHub repository. The link will be in the description, so that you can simply copy that and paste that, and you modify it and use it. Okay, so this is all about the coding part. Now let's just see how we can just, after uploading the code, how we can control the car using the app. Okay guys, now let's see how we can control the app, control the car with the app. So here I have opened the app. As you can see, we have the joystick, we have the slider and the switch. Now let's see, as you can see, if we just, let me zoom into the car, focus into the car, and now if you see, if I just, you can see I can control it this way. I can rotate it in any direction I want. Also I can, so now if you see, if I just put the slider in the middle for somewhere, so now the slider is in middle, you see the speed is very low here. Okay, and now if I make it max, then you see the speed is very high, but still I have used a very low volt battery, so it's 7 to 8 volt, that's why the speed is not that good. But if you use a 9 to 10 volt battery, obviously the speed will be better. And also here, if I just press this switch, you will see the light will be turned on and turned off. So let me show you again. So here, as you can see, if I just press this button, the light will be turned on and turned off, and in this way we can actually control this car. Okay guys, so this is how you can build a car like this. But the thing is that still it is connected to a local Wi-Fi, and still we can just control it in our local area still now, because obviously if we send it somewhere else, from where it will get internet access. Now the simplest solution of this problem can be, we can simply attach a portable hotspot with it. So for example, here this is a portable router, and it supports 4G SIMs also, so I can simply insert a 4G SIM and I can attach with this, and it works in 12 volts, so I can simply use a 12 volt battery with this card, so that I can power this thing also. And then we can simply use this hotspot with the NodeMCU. So then we can simply control it from anywhere in the world. And not only this one, there are many others. So it is basically built by GLINet. Okay. And there are many models of the same company. You can buy any of those. Also, there are many other companies who build portable routers like this, and there are many portable routers having batteries. You can also use them. You can simply attach them in the car, and then obviously that will be truly wireless, and you can control it from anywhere in the world. Okay, so this is all about this video, guys, and this is how you can build a device like this. Now we are going to build many more things with this card. Maybe in next video we are going to see how you can use a Raspberry Pi with this card, so that you can attach a camera, do a little bit of image processing and stuff. So we'll see all those things, and for all those things you have to subscribe to our channel. And also if you have liked this video, then hit the like button, and I will see you in the next video.